We are going to solve equations with variables on both sides. I know that we have already done some of these, so it's still a continuation, solve equations. What is new is this information. To solve equations with variables on both sides, use addition and subtraction to collect all the variable terms on one side. It doesn't matter which side. And then you do addition and subtraction to get all the constants on the other side. Cannot be on the same side as your variables. Finally, solve for the variables using addition or multiplication or division. All right, there are 3 possible answers to every single equation. One answer is one solution. That's what you've been seeing. One solution gets you something like the variable equals a number. Another way is no solution. There is no possible value for your variable to make that a true statement, and this is the shortcut for writing it. So you solve the equation like normal, and then you end up with an incorrect statement like 4 equals 0. 4 is not equal to 0. 4 is equal to 4. 0 is equal to 0. So if you get an incorrect statement, it means there's no solution, there's no possible answer to that equation. And then the third one is all real numbers. And the shortcut for that is this double R. To solve an equation and get statements, if you solve your equation and get a statement that's true, such as 4 equals 4, or x plus 5 equals x plus 5, you get the same exact thing on both sides. It means any value for x will make that a true statement. It does not matter what x is, it will be a true statement. So your answer is all real numbers written as a double x. I know you're typing your answers and you can't type that double x, so you'll just have to remember. Or don't use it, I don't care. Alright, reminders: when you have fractions, multiply every term by the least common denominator. When you have decimals, multiply everything by a multiple of 10, 100, 1,000, depending on how many digits are to the right of the decimal. Also, remember to simplify both sides of an equation before you start eliminating terms. If I have x plus x plus x plus 4 equals 5x, make sure you combine those first. Alright, you try and answer this one and tell me what you get. Hit pause when you hit play. It's because you are done and you want to check your work. So now you must have finished it on your own. Your answer is no solution. The symbol is this. If you want to use it, you don't have to. If you got no solution and showed all of your work, insert a picture of your work. If that's not what you get, I will solve it now. Okay, I can solve it 2 different ways. One way I can solve it is by distributing first. 15x plus 6 equals 15x. And I'm going to subtract 15x from both sides. I get 6 equals 0. That is not a true statement. So my answer is no solution, or this little figure. Another way I can solve it is, this is one term, this is another term. Outside here I see this 3. I can divide every term by that number. So that leaves me with, on my left hand side, 5x plus 2 equals 15 divided by 3 is 5. Don't lose my x. Now I'm going to solve for my variable, collect all my variable terms on one side, and I get a false statement. 2 is not equal to 0. So my answer is no solution. Like that. Okay, make sure you insert a picture of your correct work. Alright, here's your next one. You try and do this one. Hit pause. Hit play when you're done to check your answer. You must have finished your work and are checking your answer. Your answer is all real numbers, or the double R. If you are correct, make sure to insert a picture of your work. If not, let's see how to figure it out. This is like that last one where I have 2 ways that I can solve this. By looking at it, I know. I can do distributive property first. And then solve that way. I'm actually done. I see exactly on my left-hand side what I have on my right-hand side. So I know it's all real numbers. Or if I added 8y to both sides, I would have had negative 2 equals negative 2, which is true, but all real numbers. My other way I could have solved it is I see this -2 on the outside. I'm going to look at every single term that I have. Well, that's an even number, so I can divide by -2. That's an even number also, so I can divide by -2. So I'm going to divide every term by -2. And I'm left with 4y plus 1 equals 4y plus 1. I have the same exact thing on both sides again. All real numbers. And that's my symbol. Make sure you include your picture. All right, solve this problem, hit pause, solve the problem. When you're done with the problem, hit play and see if you have the right answer. So hit pause. Okay, so you hit play because you must be done. Your answer is one solution, and that solution is x equals -3. If that's what you got, insert a picture of your work. Not just the answer, but your work, of course. And if it's not what you got, let's see what happened. All right, let's see. I have a constant and I have a variable, and then I have a variable on the other side. So I'm going to move my variable over, add 2x to both sides. I get 15 equals -5x. Now I'm going to divide both sides by -5. I always like to write my x first, so I'm going to write my x first. Then I'm going to put equals, and then put the answer to this, which is -3. So that's one solution. All right, here's some formulas. Make sure you memorize them. Area of a circle is pi r squared. R is the radius. The radius is from the center of the circle to any point on the outside of the circle. Volume and surface area of a right cylinder. Volume is pi r squared h. R is the radius of your base. H is the height from base to base. Surface area is 2 times pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. R is radius, H is height again. Okay, I needed to go back and fix this, but apparently I haven't fixed it yet. So hopefully your version has this.
Yes.
The diameter is 4x in that circle. We have the radius and we have the diameter. All right, so it's asking us for the area of the circle. Area equals pi r squared. And the areas are the same. But the problem is you don't know what single number r is. You have to know what the radius is before you can solve this one. You have expressions for one radius and then you don't have the other radius. So let's see here. I have this radius equals x plus 2. I don't have this radius. I have its diameter is 4x. Do you remember the relationship between radius and diameter? Hopefully you do. A radius is half the diameter, or a diameter is twice the radius. So if the diameter is 4x, divide that by 2, that gets you the radius. So your radius is 2x. So the circles are identical, so that means their radiuses are the same, or their radii. Because they're the same, you can set them equal to each other. X plus 2 equals 2x. Okay, so now my radius are set equal to each other. I need to solve for x. X equals 2. That's not my radius though, okay? That's what x is. So if my radius is x plus 2 and x equals 2, then my radius is 4. And then in my blue one, my radius is 2x, my x is 2, so it's 2 times 2. My radius is 4, so it checks because they're the same. Okay, so now I'm ready to find my area. My area is pi r squared. My radius is 4. So I'm going to substitute 4 in for my radius. Area equals pi times 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. Area equals 16 pi. It doesn't say to use 3.14 for pi or to use 22/7 for pi, so we're just going to leave it as pi. So the answer is the area is 16 pi units square units, period. We don't know the units, but area is always squared. All right, you guys can try this one. It's very similar to the last one. Hit pause and see if you can get it right. Hit play when you're done. Okay, so you must have hit play. The answer is the perimeter is 232 units. If you got that right, you can move on. All right, so if you didn't get it right, let's look at it. A regular polygon, its sides are the same length. Find the perimeter. Well, to find the perimeter, I need to find out what a length is. Otherwise, I have a variable in there, but I have enough information I can actually find what the length is. These two sides I have information for, and those two sides have the same length, so I set them equal to each other. 4/3 x minus 1/3 is equal to x plus 7. Okay, I have fractions, so I'm going to multiply every term by 3. So I get 4x minus 1 equals 3x plus 21. Now I'm going to solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And then I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So let's see. 4x minus 3x is x. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. Equals 3x minus 3x is 0. 21 plus 1 is 22. I know what x is now. That doesn't give me a length though. That tells me, it helps me so I can figure out what the side length is. So I'm going to substitute 22 in for x for my side length. So my side length is 29. To find the perimeter, I add them all together. Well, when you add the same thing over and over again, it's multiplication. So I need to figure out how many sides there are. Hopefully you already know it's 8 sides because it's a stop sign. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sides times 1 side length. And that is not a basic math fact, so I'm going to do it on the side. $232 is that answer. So in my sentence, the perimeter is 232 units. They don't tell us the units, so we use the word units. All right, last problem we're going to do together. If a boat travels 3 hours upstream, so up, I write down what I know, upstream, 3 hours. Speed is x miles per hour. On the return trip, so downstream, travels 2.5 hours at a speed of 2 miles per hour faster than upstream. And they want to know how far. All right, so I have time, I have speed, I want to know distance. And downstream, I have time, I have an expression for speed, and I want to know distance. What is the same upstream and downstream? So if we think about it, I start here, go upstream, I turn around, and I go downstream. What can you tell me about the distance? Hopefully you just said they're equal. So to find my distance here, I do my time times speed, right? Remember our triangle? Distance, speed, time. Distance equal to speed times time. So that is going to be equal to this one's time times speed. Does that make sense? Your distance is the same. Distance is found by speed times time. So you take your time times speed for your upstream, and it should be equal to your time times speed for downstream because that is your distance. All right. I need another nugget of information though. 2 miles per hour faster than upstream. How fast was upstream? Upstream is x. So how do we indicate 2 miles per hour faster than upstream? X plus 2. Okay, so upstream, time times speed equal to downstream, time times speed. Okay, so now I have my equation and I need to solve for x. Do distributive property. I have a decimal, but these numbers are so small, I'm going to leave my decimal, but you can get rid of your decimal if you want to. Moving this way. Had to move that decimal eventually, didn't I? Okay, x equals 10. But that's not the distance, because the x did not stand for the distance. X stood for the speed upstream. Let's see, what are they asking me for? How far does the boat travel? Okay, so distance is 3x. X is 10. So that means distance is 3 times 10, which is 30. So the answer is the boat traveled 30, and I know my distance is miles because your speed is unit rate, has both of your labels for your distance and your time. So it's dealing in miles. Miles upstream. And that is it.